who's and what's and whys and wherefores. Here you'll find your what-nots and therefores. So come on along, let's find out what's going on. Where's and when's and who's and what's it's. No matter what your taste, you can trust it's the place where you can find all your new Disney news. Where's and when's and who's and what's it's. No matter what you taste, you can trust it's the place where you can find all your new Disney news.
Welcome to the Sweep Spot Podcast, Current Events Edition, up to April 28th, 2023.
Thank you for joining us. We're so glad to have you here and looking forward to getting up to speed on what's happening at the Disneyland Resort.
That's right. Ken and I are former Disneyland Custodial cast members, and we host the number one Disneyland podcast, hosted by two former Disneyland Custodians.
Yes, number one.
So I also want to mention that we have two shows that we put out on the same feed. It's the Current Events Edition, which is this one, and then our main topic show, which is on the other weeks. And both of these are released on Friday evening and or Saturday morning. You look, depending on where you live. And then Friday afternoon is the main topic that usually gets released Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
So here we are, Current Events Edition, and we are also authors of the books Cleaning the Kingdom and Update on that. We now, because Ken and I met up this past week, we now have both books signed by both of us on sale on our website. If you in paperback edition at the sweepspot.com, sweep like sweeping the floor.com, and you can get those over there. We no longer have the audiobooks, although I think I may have one more. If you really want one, you can email me, but I took them down. So
you'd have to get the audiobook where you normally find audiobooks.
Right. And both versions are on Audible and all the other places you get audiobooks. Also, we have a Patreon where if you want to help support the show, it really does mean a lot. And it actually does really help us because we now have more. We're trying to upgrade the way we sound and record and the way we do things. And now we have another bill on top of the stuff we already had. So it really does help us out to keep this going. I don't think we'd be able to do it without everyone's support. It's just really helpful. So if you want to be a part of that, you can give $5 or more a month and you get one bonus episode delivered to you. And we have a lot of fun recording these. We do them once a month, just Ken and I, and we talk about various subjects surrounding Disneyland, our times, going in the parks as kids or teenagers or now or current events that we want to get deeper into, stuff like that. So you can get that. Go to patreon.com and search for the Sweep Spot, or go to our website, thesweepspot.com, and click on the Patreon link. Also wanted to mention that we're going to try to keep doing the current events live, and that was another perk that you could get that was added. And we've been having some technical issues. I need to figure it out. I don't want to do them anymore until we get it figured out, because I feel like some people would show up and we're stumbling trying to figure it out, and it's just, I don't want to waste your time or mine. So
very complicated process.
Yeah, we're gonna put that on hold. Probably only have to miss maybe we won't miss any months, but I'm just putting it out there that there may be a chance we'll miss May, but we'll see. Also wanted to mention that when I was on my on my retreat with concierge that we'll talk about later in the show, I did stay at Howard Johnson's Hojo Anaheim and had a very good experience there. And if you'd like to stay there and you don't want to book with me, which I don't know why you wouldn't, you can go to our website and click on the link, and it'll take you over, and you'll get the discount through that. So speaking of concierge and me, you can now book directly with me And just by contacting me, Barron, that's LBARRON at concierge.com, or you can contact me anyway through the website, like the sweet spot at gmail.com or through the website. Anyway, you can find a way to get a hold of me. You can do that, and I will help you book your Disney vacation, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disney Alani, Ventures by Disney, even Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, are combined. I can do both in one vacation. So yeah, you can book with me, and it costs you no extra. And you get the perks by working with me. I can help you with dining and reservations and navigating the park, especially with all the changes that have been taking place over the last couple of years. You're going to be better off by working with someone like myself. So you can go ahead and contact me, and we'll work together to make the best vacation and the most memorable for you and your family and friends. All right, Ken, we got a lot to talk about on this current events, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, because people should stay tuned when they normally think the current events might be over, because you and I are going to give trip reports on our recent visits, which were actually just earlier this week.
Yeah, fresh. But before we get into that, we're going to hear from Eric at Concierge giving us the D180.
Hello everyone, this is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Ken and Lynn cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We start our journey in Walt Disney World, and spoiler alert, we end there also. There's just so much going on. I'm not sure I can contain myself to 3 minutes either, so I guess hold on tight, everybody. We'll start out with a bit of long-term planning. If you ever wanted to visit Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party, now is the time to think about your vacation plans. Tickets went on sale April 27th for folks with a current Walt Disney World Resort stay planned. If you don't have a trip on the books yet, get ready for ticket sales on May 2nd. And by Disney Resort, I mean the main resorts that are officially run by Disney, but also a few others. If you stay at the Swan or Dolphin Resorts or Disney's Shades of Green Resort, you can also access early tickets. I understand that one of those names might sound unfamiliar. Shades of Green began its life as the golf resort and then became the Disney Inn. It rests a short distance away from the Polynesian off of the monorail loop. In 1996, the U.S. military purchased the resort, and ever since it's been operated as an armed forces recreation center. The resort is kind of mysterious because most people don't know about it, but the general public can go there for dinner. It's just that you can't book a room there. Only the U.S. military can. Kind of cool, right? Dates for the Halloween event at the Magic Kingdom start in August and run through November 1st. Spooky season lasts quite a while in the Florida resorts, so you have plenty of chances to join in the fun. Now for something a bit closer in time, like now era. The Star Wars events kick off at the parks starting May 1st. For the entire month of May, Star Warsy, and yes, that is a real word, look it up, Star Warsy treats abound around the resorts, but mostly at Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is home to Galaxy's Edge, so this makes sense. At several locations, you will find the new Acid Spitter Orb Sipper, an homage to an obscure reference in the Tales from Galaxy's Edge VR game. There are plenty more treats around, though. The most exciting bites are returning favorites. Docking Bay 7 returns to its Oi Oi Puffs, which are raspberry cream puffs with passion fruit mousse. They're a cool purple color, and I would love to sink my teeth into that sugary goodness. Even more toothsome is the much-anticipated return of the Wookiee Cookie. This treat harkens back to the days of the Star Wars weekends when Galaxy's Edge was just a twinkle in our eyes. 2 giant oatmeal cookies stuffed with vanilla cream and topped with Chewie's signature bandolier made of chocolate. I think the only improvement would be ice cream, but I don't know. What do I know? Sticking with that theme, now even more people can enjoy up to 30% off of their voyage on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. First, Disney Vacation Club owners got access, and then Walt Disney World annual pass holders. Now, Disney Visa card holders, which are a much larger group, will receive 30% off of their voyages. Not every voyage is eligible, but dates begin May 1st and run all the way through September 16th. Is there any non-Star Wars news? Sure, I guess. I know what you've been thinking. When will Disney 100 reach the Walt Disney World Resort? The answer is soon. Much of the celebration will take place at Epcot, featuring Mickey, Minnie, and their friends in their purple and platinum best. The popular light shows on Spaceship Earth started for the Walt Disney World 50th and Epcot 40th celebrations will continue with the Disney 100 themes. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both the Sweep Spot and Concy Ears. Then reach out to Lynn, your personal travel planner. He looks forward to planning something special for you and your family. For Concy Ears, I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Now we're going to have the current events. Ken, do you have anything for us?
Oh, nothing's really happened since we last recorded. I mean, nothing at all. Of course, there's plenty to talk about. We can talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the dragon along the river. Okay. In case you've been living under a rock, the Orange County Register had the story, Disneyland drops flamethrowers from World of Color and fireworks shows after Fantasmic Inferno. And that was Bertie McDonald reporting in. Because they're doing analysis, it's kind of like, what's happened? The dragon caught on fire. So, as the story says here, Disneyland has temporarily suspended fire effects in Wondrous Journeys and World of Color 1 out of an abundance of caution following the Fantasmic prop fire, according to Disneyland officials. Disney has temporarily suspended fire effects similar to those used at Disneyland's Fantasmic at select shows and entertainment experiences globally following the Maleficent Dragon fire on Saturday, April 22nd, according to Disney officials. Now, I'll pause and say that what happened was, and I just happened to be on Twitter at the time, but they had the 10:30 showing of Fantasmic, and of course, spoilers at the finale. A big Maleficent appears on the tip of the island there in her dragon form. She transforms into the dragon, let's put it that way, and the dragon lights the river on fire, and then Mickey saves the day and banishes the dragon and everything. Well, apparently the fire did not go out in Maleficent's head, and quickly Maleficent immolated. I mean, it was pretty dramatic, and of course it's right there for everybody to see.
Tons of videos out there of it.
So yeah, this day and age, there are videos online pretty much immediately, and the show stopped. I mean, it's really funny because you see the dragon's on fire, and top to bottom, and the recording comes on. This showing of Fantasmic, can't continue or whatever.
Technical,
we are experiencing technical difficulties, and then crowd control tries to clear everybody out, and of course people are getting videos and stuff like that. Fortunately, the fire did not spread. There were no injuries other than to Maleficent, but it was pretty dramatic.
Yes, I heard some cast members did go to the hospital just for smoke
precautionary smoke inhalation. Yeah. Well, because it did give off smoke, that's for sure. you know, uh, because it performs all these, so many times, these controlled burns and everything, it's kind of like you kind of forget that, hey, this is actual fire.
Yeah.
This is actual fire they're dealing with. And now, granted, it's usually very controlled, but for some reason, something happened this time that burned up the Maleficent figure. So I'll continue the story here. Wondrous Journeys feature skyward flamethrower-like effects on the Fantasyland rooftops around Sleeping Beauty Castle during the fireworks show. World of Color 1 also features similar fire effects in Paradise Bay during the water show. The Isopar cannons, I might be mispronouncing that, Isopar cannons, are capable of shooting 50-foot flames into air during Wondrous Journeys and World of Color. The flame effects used during nighttime spectaculars at Disneyland and DCA create quickly dissipating smoke rings that have been confused for UFOs by bewildered Disneyland visitors. They're identified flying objects because we know what they are. They're smoke rings, so they're not unidentified. There are no Fantasmic shows scheduled at Disneyland until at least May 5th. That's according to this story, but it's I think it's been pushed back since the story came out. They can run the show without the dragon, right? They can. I mean, it's we like seeing the dragon and like that, but for the time being, they can run the show without the dragon. But what did you think about that, Lynn?
Yeah, we were starting our retreat for concierge, and I had arrived Saturday night or Saturday kind of afternoon, and actually saw you came over and signed some books at the hotel that now are on sale on our website. And then I grabbed something to eat and just was tired, from driving all day, and I went to bed kind of early. I mean, early, about 9 or so, and woke up in the morning and saw all this videos and everything. I thought, what in the world?
Yeah.
So I slept through all that, and I was right across the street. But yeah, my first thought was, wow, how'd that happen? But there's, like you were saying, there's a lot of technical stuff. Things just happen. It was, I think it was about 10 years old, the dragon. So,
a little more than that. In fact, I'll get into some details.
Yeah. So, but I was also thinking, wow, there was cast members on the island. I mean, it had the potential to be very bad.
Right.
Think of all the cast members backstage that are on the island there. I mean, luckily, it's unfortunate. I know that some of the people that designed this put their heart and soul into this. This was one of their biggest animatronics, that was designed. So I know that they're saddened by this, but again, luckily no one was hurt, and it can all be replaced someday, eventually, maybe.
Hopefully.
We'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, that I mean, as Brady McDonald reported in a separate story in the Orange County Register, the headline of that saying, "The Cursed History of Disneyland's Problematic Fantasmic Dragon That Burst into Flames." And it says here, the Disneyland Dragon that burst into a towering inferno during Fantasmic has a troubled history stretching back more than a decade to the cursed debut of the 45-foot tall audio animatronic beast nicknamed after Murphy's Law. Murphy, as fans mockingly nicknamed the mechanical dragon, seemed to embody the Murphy's Law adage of anything that can go wrong will go wrong. The Fantasmic star didn't make an appearance until September 2009, when kids were back in school and the summer Nightastic promotion was over. Published reports at the time blamed Maleficent's delayed debut on the dragon's head falling off during rehearsals. Disneyland officials never confirmed the reports, saying only that there had been quote-unquote mechanical trouble. The massive high-tech 2009 robotic dragon from Sleeping Beauty replaced a low-tech Fantasmic prop that seemed rudimentary by comparison. Since the show's 1992 debut, Maleficent's transformation had been recreated nightly using a mechanical dragon's head mounted atop a cherry picker boom lift with wings that were flapped manually using poles. Of course, in the dark and everything, and through the distorted viewing from the heat created by the fire on the river, that was pretty that was convincing enough, and then but then they that was called Bucky, I believe, but then they replaced Bucky with Murphy, which was even more impressive. But as it says here, the technically impressive yet perpetually temperamental 18,000-pound dragon with glowing eyes broke down again mid-show in summer 2010, forcing a cancellation. The dragon collapsed during the show and face planted into the stage. Later on, it says the animatronic dragon eventually returned to the show in late 2010. And then further down, the latest incarnation of Fantasmic returned in May 2022 after a 2-year pandemic absence. Disneyland has the ability to run a projection version of the dragon scene whenever Murphy is having issues, an option that will likely become the temporary default when the show eventually returns. So, MiceChat.com has plenty of coverage of it. Dusty Sage had a story called Shocking News, Disneyland's Fantasmic Dragon Engulfed in Flames. And Laughing Place covers it, and they say that it's, Disneyland pauses performances at least through mid-May. So we'll see what happens as far as when that comes back. So that was big news because it was just, such a visual thing,
Yeah, I went over on that Sunday morning, the night after. I just had been planning to go into the parks that day, and I was over that way very early in the morning. I rode Indy, and then I went over there. I actually did see Dusty there. Dusty Sage was there, taking photos and stuff for his report you have here. Talked to him a little bit about it. So yeah, just unfortunate. I'm sure it was a lot of money. I've heard rumors of 10 million. I don't know what it was, but I know it's probably somewhere up there. Yeah, for sure.
Not cheap, whatever it was.
No.
But we'll have links to all these stories, as we usually do, at our official website, thesweepspot.com. The current events show notes there. So you can click through and get the entire thing, see videos, see pictures, all that sort of thing. But that wasn't the only thing going wrong. Brady McDonald also reported on a story published April 20th, Disneyland computer crash traps massive crowds outside front gates in quote-unquote crazy scene. A massive computer system crash brought Disneyland and DCA to a grinding halt, with visitors unable to enter the front gates or use many technology-dependent features at the Anaheim theme parks. An outage with the Disneyland Resort's ticketing system on Thursday, April 20th, affected the turnstiles at Disneyland and DCA, according to Disneyland officials. The computer issue was resolved in about half an hour, and Disneyland cast members addressed any impacts with guests on a case-by-case basis, according to Disneyland officials. The crippling computer issues prevented visitors from entering Disneyland and DCA, park hopping between parks, or using the parking structures starting at about 11:30 a.m. on Thursday. So...
Wow.
Here's what happens when everything is so technological. Instead of just having paper tickets that you use to get into the park,
I hope that I hope that they had all these layoffs. I hope that some of these computer technical people behind the scenes weren't some that were laid off, and this caused issues.
Oh, there you go. What you mean, unintentionally or unintentionally?
Oh, unintentionally, but just
Oh,
that,
you're not,
like,
okay. You're not saying
they.
that someone's planning a retaliation by,
Oh, no, I didn't even think that. But no, I was just thinking, I don't know who was laid off, who wasn't. But I'm just saying it's just odd that all this is. I've seen videos out there, the doom and gloom. Disneyland, everything's breaking down. But yeah,
yeah.
I think it's just a coincidence. But
well, the everybody there has already purchased a ticket, right?
Yeah.
You have your ticket and your reservation before you even get there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably thinking, well, this is just great. Disney has my money already and I'm not allowed, I can't get into the parks, or I paid extra for park hopping and I can't do that. So that starts to get to be a point where you're going to have a lot of guests who start to get upset. I have reservations, I have reservations for a meal. I've got, all this stuff. Whereas in the past, it's like, okay, well, if it's not open, I'm going to wait to buy my ticket. I'm going to wait to see what happens.
Well, if we had paper or card, our magic keys, your magic key now, like when I bought mine, it's just on my phone. I have no proof that I own, except for that. I have no card or anything I carry. So I think it cost extra if you wanted a card, but yeah. So, something like that happens, then we're out of luck. We don't,
I guess my point is you need some redundancies or something. You need a backup plan but then again, how often does this happen?
Not very often.
Yeah. So it's, that was an interesting little thing. I'm glad it got resolved relatively quickly. Maybe it was the fault of that oogly, as one of our coworkers used to call him.
Maybe.
Because Disneyland brings back the Oogie Boogie Bash for another Halloween season. Again, this is Brady McDonald reporting in the Register. Oogie Boogie Bash will run once again on select nights in September and October at DCA. So tickets for the after hours separate admission event on 24 select nights are expected to go on sale this summer. It's April,
Yeah.
We're talking about Halloween stuff.
Yeah, it's very popular event. So
that's a thing. It's very popular. You have to make your plans ahead of time, don't you? So let's see, prices for the 2022 event ranged from $129 to $179. Details have not yet been released for this year's event. The 5-hour after party starts at 6 p.m. with mix-in beginning 3 hours earlier. So very popular, and we'll see what happens. laughingplace.com has details on that. And you just stay tuned. If you want to go to that, pay attention to when tickets go on sale and snatch them up.
Sounds good.
MiceChat.com has an overview of Downtown Disney Shakeup. This is from Nathan Villamore. Downtown Disney Shakeup continues. Hot chicken in, favorites out, future plans. And as Nathan writes, Disneyland's downtown Disney shopping and dining district is undergoing rapid change. Nearly all of the restaurants in the zone have been replaced or updated in recent years, with even more changes on the way. Continuing the trend, Sprinkles Cupcakes has closed, as have Catal and the Uva Bar. And Earl of Sandwich has taken over the La Brea Bakery location, but will again be forced to move when a new Porto's begins construction. A hot chicken sandwich quick service location is on the way soon, as are a number of high-end restaurants. let's take a look at all of the changes on the way to downtown Disney in the coming weeks and months. So he goes on to talk about Clyde's Hot Chicken, as well as a bunch of other things. So as he says here, the cart is already set up and ready to open. So we'll see.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's see. Oh, here's something you might be able to talk about. The Register had a story from Brady McDonald. Disneyland to open exclusive retro-futuristic Tomorrowland Lounge. Here's how to get in. The Disney Vacation Club Starview Station member lounge, inspired by Walt Disney's optimistic vision for the future, was set to open on Wednesday, April 19th at the Anaheim theme park. The new DVC Starview Station on the second floor of the Star Wars launch bay in Tomorrowland turns the unused space in the perpetual White Elephant building into a timeshare perk for members of Disney's vacation ownership program. That means the only way to get into Disneyland's new Starview Station Lounge is to be a DVC member or become one. The DVC Lounge will offer members air-conditioned extras with comfortable seating, free Wi-Fi access, mobile device charging stations, and complimentary soft drinks from Coca-Cola Freestyle machines. Sounds pretty nice.
It is nice. I actually had the opportunity to go. Thank you to our listeners, Emily and Daniel. They, I met up with them in the park on Sunday, and he said, "Hey, do you want to check out the lounge?" I said, "Yeah, that would be great."
Well,
so we went over
very
there.
Nice.
I know, and yeah, it's very nice inside. It does have a temporary feel. You can tell that there's just like an area of the launch bay. It's upstairs. It's kind of curtained off, like a section of it. You can tell, but it does look good. They have a display of the spaceman suit. You know, that from the 50s and 60s. You know, the spaceman that walked around Tomorrowland. They had that on display. They had a big mural of the like the what was it, the Epcot, like Walt's vision of Epcot. What was that, Progress City or
Progress City? Or...
Yeah. Anyways, it was really nice. They had soft drinks up there for free, and you can charge your phones and everything. So yeah, thank you again to Daniel and Emily. That was a lot of fun.
Well, that's very nice. And I just want to say, anytime we're out and about and you see us, you bump into us, if you want to offer us perks, that's just fine with me, you know. You see us out and about somewhere, you want to
exactly.
pay for our dinner, or you know, buy us a car, anything like that.
Sure.
So as the story continues, Disneyland is full of unused space, including the Magic Eye Theater, former People Mover track, Starcade Arcade, and the vast majority of Star Wars Launch Bay. So the new DVC Lounge in Star Wars Launch Bay is a temporary installation at best, easily removed or relocated. A similar Magic Key annual pass holder lounge in the former Starcade Arcade was a limited time addition that quietly disappeared after a few months. Disneyland's first ever DVC Lounge will be similar to other members-only locations atop Disney's Contemporary Hotel and inside Epcot's Imagination Pavilion at Walt Disney World. So, I mean, as we've said on the program before, and why not? I mean, if the building's going to sit there unused, why not use for lounges? You know, put in a dream suite if you want to. Might as well use the space for something.
Right. I think they could use one at DCA also. I think that would be good. I think every park should have one. I don't think there's enough of them for those members. Yeah.
So I'm glad you got to experience it. let's see. MiceChat.com also covers that lounge if you want to take a look. As says Laughing Place. So we'll have those links at thesweepspot.com. Here's a surprise, really, to me anyway, because I guess I'm just not up on things. Disneyland dedicates new windows on Main Street, USA to longtime partnership with Make-A-Wish. And laughingplace.com reported that Disney and, this is actually late breaking news. So Disney and Make-A-Wish have been working together for decades, with the company being the largest wish granted. Let me sorry. Let me.
Yeah, that's fine.
That.
No, that's fine.
I think it might have been an early draft of this. Disney and Make-A-Wish have been working together for decades, and with the company being the largest wish grantor, said granted here, but wish grantor in the world for Make-A-Wish, Disneyland Park is honoring the relationship with a special set of windows above Main Street, USA in the park. And just in time for World Wish Day tomorrow, which celebrates the anniversary of the wish that inspired the founding of Make-A-Wish, we are proud to honor this longtime relationship with a special window dedication at Disneyland Park with 3 windows on Main Street, USA, marking the first time in Disneyland Park's history that a window on Main Street, USA has been dedicated to a nonprofit organization. The 3 windows include a center window dedicated to Make-A-Wish and all the Wish Kids past, present, and future, and side windows honoring Chris, I'm going to mispronounce this, Chris Gracius, Greicius, the wish that inspired the creation of Make-A-Wish, and Frank Bopsy Salazar, the first official wish granted by Make-A-Wish, and the first Disney wish. Yeah, so of course they have the Wish Lounge, and so these are over related to that. The window dedication ceremony began with remarks from Disneyland Resort President Ken Potrock, Make-A-Wish America President and CEO Leslie Motter, and Chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences and Products Josh D'Amaro, who is a board member for Make-A-Wish America. Also present at the window dedication ceremony were 6 children on their official wish visits to the Disneyland Resort, as well as the mothers of Chris and Bopsy, whose sons continue to inspire these children and thousands more all over the world. The 3 new windows can be found above the Wish Lounge, which serves as a calming respite in Disneyland Park for Wish Kids and their families during their visits to the resort. In addition to designing the windows, Walt Disney Imagineering worked with artists from Walt Disney Animation Studios to bring to life this incredible Wish Lounge inspired by the visual style and characters from Disney Animation's upcoming animated film, Wish, releasing November 2023. Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
I was just by that location last night and I had no idea. So, we went over there because my daughter needed to visit first aid. So, she severed her arm. No, it was she had an upset tummy, so she got some Pepto-Bismol. But so we were right over there by the Wish Lounge, and I had no idea that a few hours later that was going to be taking place. So
interesting.
Yeah, laughingplace.com has that story as well if you want to read that. My chat has a whole thing on it. So yeah, you can take a look at that, see the pictures. Speaking of wishes, but not as serious, Disney security workers getting $8 an hour raise in a new contract.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Kevin Smith reported that at the Orange County Register. The happiest place on earth just got a little happier for more than 1,300 Disneyland security workers. The theme park's security cast members, including security officers, lead officers, sergeants, bag checkers, and canine handlers, have secured a wage increase of nearly $8 an hour to be phased in over the next 2 years.
Wow.
The workers, represented by the security, police, and fire professionals of America, got a $6 hourly raise effective April 1st. It will be followed by a $1 an hour hike on April 1st, 2024, and another $1 hourly raise on April 1st, 2025. Combined, the raises will boost their minimum wage to $26 an hour from $18.10 hourly.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, you going to come back to the park, Lynn?
And do security? No.
Do security.
No.
All right. Well, if you don't want to go to the register, Laughing Place has that story. As usual, there's plenty of updates at micechat.com. And there was one from April 17th from Dusty Sage called Disneyland Update, The Last Splash, Crowd Flux, and Keys to the Kingdom. So give that a look. And there's another update from Dusty Sage on April 24th called Disneyland Update From Doom to Bloom. And that starts out with, hang on tight, folks. This is going to be a wild Disneyland update. While we have news, photos, and video for you of a new experience in Tomorrowland, new food option in downtown Disney, and some fun construction updates, we also have an unfortunate confluence of events that made this horrible week for Disneyland. We'll take a look at a near tragedy that lit up the night in a way that Disney didn't intend, technology problems that kept guests from entering the park, and a power outage that shut down parts of Disneyland for hours. So, yeah, power outages at the park are not fun because they have to evacuate everybody. Even if it's a short power outage, you know, everybody gets evacuated, and from those particular attractions or restaurants or whatever. And Lynn, did you have anything else? Did you have refurb info?
I do. So Matterhorn bobsleds are down now, and we have a return date now. Be back on June 2nd. Silly Symphony swings are still down, and they'll be back on May 19th. As we know, Splash Mountain will be its last day will be May 30th, so it'll be down May 31st, and who knows when it will return.
Well, Splash Mountain won't return.
Splash Mountain will not return. Yeah,
but
the attraction,
the Tiana attraction, will make a debut.
Yeah, there's been no talk of it. I'm assuming at least a year, but June. Let's see. Okay, so Alice in Wonderland, Mr. Toad, Peter Pan.
Right, which they all share a building.
Right, going down June 5th, and according to a source, a very good source that I have, that I've heard rumors. Oh no, is it going to be closed all summer? And these are iconic attractions, and all this stuff. Are they going? Or I've heard other rumors. Oh, are they going to update those rides? Like they did Snow White. And no, it is just for lighting upgrades. So that's what they're going to be doing, and it shouldn't be real long. It's probably just, from what I was told, probably just be a few days. So
okay.
So moving on. Also part of that is Little Mermaid. And that goes down June 5th. But that one returns June 8th, so that's only a couple days So it might be for the same reason. I don't know. Probably not. But really, those are all I have up to as far out as the Disneyland calendar goes right now.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you and I have both mentioned visiting recently. Did you want to talk about your visit?
Yeah. So my visit encompassed a lot of different things. Well, two different things. It was the main purpose for me to go down there was that Concierge, the travel planning company, that I work for part-time, was going to have like a retreat. A lot of us have never met each other in person. We do Zoom meetings. I had only met one person out of the 13 of us, and that was at D23. It was Bethany was there, had come by the booth, and said hi, and that was the only person I had met in person up to this point. Eric, who's done our D180s for years, was, I had never met him in person, and finally had the chance. So that was the main purpose for this trip. Well, I wanted to get there a day early so I could just kind of explore the park myself, because when I saw the schedule they had for us, I thought, wow, there's not really a lot of time to do much other than what they have planned. So
Yeah.
I went down a day early just to explore. So I had all day Sunday by myself, which was a lot of fun. And I rope dropped. This was on April 23rd. And I got there it was about 7:40, and I just stood over near the entrance of Adventureland, because my first plan was to go to Indy, because I hadn't seen some of the changes and updates that they had done, and I wanted to see that and bring that back to you, and we could discuss that in a little bit. But our observation of it, because you had a chance to see that too. So so I did do that. And as far as my notes, I just said, it looked really good and stuff. But then at that point, that's when I had seen Dusty, with Mice Chat and some other influencers, that were standing by the edge of the river, kind of, because at that point they had blankets over what was remaining of the dragon, but they hadn't yet put the big, as you saw it yesterday, they hadn't yet put that up there yet.
Tarp,
surrounding the whole stage. Anyways, I was observing that. We were talking about everything, and so then I headed over to Haunted Mansion, and then I went on Rise of Resistance, and this was interesting because from the, I don't know what room you would call this. I call it the gun room. Remember when I don't know if you remember the first time we went on it, the guns used to go back and forth, and the car would wait until one moved. They they don't do that. It doesn't do that anymore. I think that was one of the main reasons that it would go down, is like the timing of all that was very difficult. Well, anyways, from that point on, we lost sound, like in our vehicle. There was no sound. and it would just pull forward through the scenes, and you can hear the vehicle moving and all the mechanicals, and then the Kylo Ren animatronic, you could see that and hear it, but there was no sound in our car or anything.
Oh boy.
And then I went, are they going to stop it? Because it kind of hesitated, and I thought, we're going to get an in-show exit, and then nope, we went right into the last the last drop sequence, went right into there, and it was a black screen. Like the screen was all black, and there was no sound. And and everyone was just sitting there looking at each other, and then it dropped, and it did all its movements and everything, and then it let us out, and we rolled into the exit, or into the towards the exit area there, and we got out, and they knew what was going on, because I overheard conversation with cast members. But yeah, that was interesting way to ride the half of the attraction. So I went over and we did Single Rider from Millennium Falcon, and that was fun. So then I went up to Toontown, and this was my first time. I had been up in March. We went and saw Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and went on that, but I hadn't seen the whole land open yet. So I kind of did a walkthrough. Went in the restrooms just to see what was going on in there. I always check out restrooms, but it's the custodial in us. But looked like they did change some of the coloring in the restrooms, the tile work and stuff, but the whole layout's the same. Kind of did a walkthrough, walked on that turf, and just kind of looked at everything. And then I turned around and I went on the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It was like an hour wait, and I thought, I kind of want to go on it. And I looked on the lightning lane, so the extra that you can pay. I thought, well, it's just me. If I had had a whole family or a bunch of people, so I thought it's $15, and I thought, what, that'll save me some time, and I'll just pay it. So
wow.
So I paid for that, and then I got in line.
Look at you.
I know.
Yeah.
So then I got in line for that, and that takes you kind of like around. Like you don't wait until you get just before the theater part. Well, at that point, it went down the ride. No, I paid for this thing, So I asked the cast member, and they scanned my phone, and it uploaded. Something uploaded on there, so I would have it. And I even checked before I walked away from her. I wanted to make sure, so I looked on my phone.
Right.
Okay, it's here. So that happened. Let's see what happened. Oh, and then I went over to Tomorrowland and went on Buzz and Star Tours. And at that point, I then met up with Emily and Daniel, who invited me to go to the DVC lounge. And I kind of mentioned that in the in our current events. So thank you very much for that. And then I needed to go out of the park, and I'll explain that whole thing. So on my way out, I watched the what's the group, the jazz band that plays on Main Street? I can't think of it right now. Not the Sides. I can't think of it.
On Main Street?
Yeah.
Jazz?
It's a little jazz band.
The Firehouse?
No. So anyways, Jimmy Ford, who's a drummer, I saw him and chatted with him after their set. And then I headed over to the hotel, and this is what the problem was, and I'll explain just because it was kind of interesting. So I had made this reservation months ago, and when I checked in on Saturday evening, they said, we don't have your this is not a bash on it turns into a good situation. So they said, we don't have you in our system. And I went, what, really? So I got up the email and I showed them the confirmation that they sent me showing that I'm checking is on the 22nd. Well, they said they couldn't find me anywhere in the system. And well, what had happened was just a small mistake, human error, but they had put me in as checking in on the 21st. And when I didn't show up on the 21st, they canceled my whole book, my whole reservation because it was like a no-show. But that wasn't my fault. I was supposed to be there on 22nd.
Lynn, you're a professional at this now.
Right.
I mean, you've been good at making, reservations and trip stuff. I even remarked on that when you did it for me, but before you went for concierge, I said, you're really good at this because you used to do it for band purposes.
Yeah.
So you're literally a pro at it. So I just figured, not your fault,
No, well, I'm not perfect either, but so it was interesting. So I thought, oh no, and and so there was a woman helping me, and there was a man off to the side observing it all, and he said, oh, don't worry, we're gonna get it figured out for you. I said, okay, good, because I have this retreat. I'm supposed to be here until Wednesday. So anyways, they made it right, and they comped the first night, and I had to stay in a different building than what I was reserved for. Was one of their buildings that are not yet refurbished yet, which is fine. And so I stayed there one night, and then I so I had to go back to the hotel at this moment and get my new room where I was supposed to be. So that's a long story about that. So I went there and did that. So anyways, I came back and I went to California Adventure and I went to Radiator Springs Racers single rider. And that was great. That was my first time doing single rider on that ride, and it was about a 15-minute wait. So that was fun. Then I went on Monsters Inc. and saw a fight almost take place. I was like, "Whoa, this is
Really?
yeah, things
What,
are
did they
getting
find
crazy."
a human child in Monsters Inc.?
I don't know. Things are getting crazy over in Montrost. I can't say it.
Monstropolis.
Wow, say that. Yeah, things are getting crazy over there. Yeah, there was some argument in the line, and somebody was cursing and yelling, and so
Wow.
I don't know exactly what was going on, but I just kind of just looked the other way. But that eventually stopped, and then went on that and went back to Disneyland, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was still down, and I had that pass, you know.
Yeah.
And it kept going down, and then when it was going on, it was okay. I'm like, oh, it's back up. I was doing something else, and I couldn't run right over there. So then, when I was ready to go over there, and it just happens to be the furthest, you know, thing in the park practically. So I noticed that it said multiple use, you know, instead of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And there's only in Disneyland Park, there's only 2 rides with that. That's Rise Resistant, and then that one. At California Adventure, there's Radiator Springs Racers, the other one. But so I went,
yeah, you want to use it for something that you actually have to pay for. Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to use it. I paid for it. And I said, you know what? I didn't get the full experience with Rise with the whole sound situation. So I went over there and used it for that. And it was fine. It was perfect. And then I ate over at Rancho del Zocalo, had dinner, went on Pirates, and then the retreat started. I met up with everyone out at the picnic area out in the Esplanade, and we headed back to our hotel, and we had a meeting, kind of went over some of the history of concierge and kind of introduction. You know, everyone introduced themselves. We kind of knew each other, but just kind of a little more. I hosted a trivia contest. They asked me to prepare ahead of time, so that was fun. Yeah, so and that went over really well. I was trying to think of stuff that was kind of hard, but you know, I didn't really know the audience. I mean, what they knew, but it was fun. It turned out being a lot of fun. So that kind of ended that night, and that was on Sunday. But anyways, I don't have detailed notes for the rest, but I'll just kind of quickly go over the rest. On the 24th, we met up at Rope Drop in the morning, and we had reservations for the character breakfast at Plaza Inn, and I think that was partially because some of us haven't experienced that yet, and they wanted us as travel planners to kind of experience it, and plus it's fun, but we could suggest that maybe to clients, and it was really good. You know, I'm not like a big fan of all the characters and everything, but it was fun just observing everything, and the food was good. I didn't understand like how it worked, kind of, because they had different stations for different things. Well, there was this one that had like a list of different items. I didn't read them all. I just saw eggs and sausage and, you know, all this stuff. And I went, they said, oh, what do you want? I said, oh, just give me everything, you know. You know, so they loaded that thing up. So I'm like, oh no, as they were loading, there's chicken, there was sausage and bacon and biscuits and gravy and eggs and potatoes. And I was like, oh my. And so, believe it or not, I ate most of it. So that was a lot of fun.
I can believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Breakfast is one of my things I really enjoy. So we did that, and then we went up to Toontown and went on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and it was down when we got up there again.
Jeez.
I know that one has a lot. I think it's a lot of these trackless systems are very sensitive to items
it's also
being
the newest thing, and it takes a while to get these things worked out, you know.
So we did that. So we went up there and it was down, but we said, oh, let's just wait, because we had kind of overheard that it was going to be opening soon. So we waited maybe like 10 minutes and it opened up. So we pretty much walked right on that because we were standing there in line. And then we did like a thing where we split up and into groups and we took photos and stuff and with each other, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we had lunch. Then we broke up for lunch, and you could go like wherever you wanted. And I ended up with Eric, who does our D180. And we went over and had lunch together. We had a Ronto wrap and this new, I don't have it written down, but it's this new drink at the Ronto wrap area where they have, it's like an orange drink, and it had like cream cheese, like whipped cream on top. Is really good. So I tried that. And then Eric is a DVC member also, and wanted to go up and see the DVC lounge. So I went up with him and Jimmy, and we went up there and checked that out for a little bit. Anyway, so we went back to the hotel and, had another like meeting, and we went over some training stuff, and then we went back to Disneyland and we took a photo in front of the castle, our whole group. And then we had reservations at Cafe Orleans for dinner, and I had a Monte Cristo, but those fries that come with the Monte Cristo, now the fries are amazing. It has some kind of seasoning on them, and you dip them in this sauce. Oh man. Just those are enough. We did that, and then this is where things got interesting.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get into it. But Eric and I knew someone who Eric knew someone who was a Club 33 member, and he had asked if I wanted to go up there with him. I'm like, yeah. So we went to the lounge part, and I had been to Club 33 when my wife and I were dating. It was before I worked in the park, so it was probably 97. And long story with that, but someone knew I liked Disneyland, and they knew a member, and they hooked me up, and we went. And then of course you and I, we've been in there many times, working there to clean the restroom, but then they redid everything. And so I was really curious to see what it looks like now, because that was the one thing I wanted to see the most, was the lounge, because that was the newest thing they added there. So it's really interesting. So you open that door, you see from the outside there, and it opens up into the Court of Angels, that is not accessible to the public anymore.
Don't get me started.
So we went up those stairs, and where those stairs kind of, how you go up the stairs, and if you went straight, it leads you right into like the Club 33, and the restrooms would be on the right. Yeah. Well, but if you turn left, it would be where our stock area was.
Yeah,
and
they had that area. Yeah.
They had that chain link fence with all the drinks stored in there and everything. Well, now you walk through there, but it's like a hallway with booths that are like inside, like kind of tucked in, and then it leads to this bigger room that's right above the French Market, and they have booths and tables in the middle and a bar. It was really nice.
Nice,
done really well. We had drinks and we went up there and hung out for a little bit, and then we left, and I went back to the hotel that night. But that was really cool, and a great opportunity to be able to do that. I ran into a few people I know that day too, which was fun. Dale Smoot. I talked to Dale.
Dale. Really? How's Dale doing?
He's doing good. Well,
Okay.
He's doing as good as he can. He's doing all right. And Dennis Walker, Dennis, he's doing good. So, ran into those people. Ran into a YouTube person that does David from Fresh Baked, and was chatting with him for a little bit. And then we had our next day, this is going a lot longer than I thought, but it's fine. I could talk as long as I want. It's my show. No.
There you go.
No, so then on April 25th, it was a Tuesday, was our DCA day, and we met in front of the we got in the park and we met over like we were gonna rope drop Soaring. And it was Soaring over California, which is the best version, I think. And so we did that. And then they went over and I just wasn't feeling it. Just didn't feel like going on roller coasters, and they went over to Incredicoaster, so I just kind of hung out. I don't know. It's just as I get older, I can't really handle the upside down stuff as much as I used to.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I enjoyed the ride. I've been on it many times. I just wasn't in the mood that morning, so I sat that one out. But in the meantime, they wanted to go over to Guardians, and again,
Yes.
I just wasn't up for that. My head being pushed in different directions, and
Yeah.
so I had been on that, and so in the meantime, another person who didn't want to go on it, we went over, did single rider web slingers.
Uh-huh.
And then we did some more training photos and things, and then for lunch we did walk up to Lamplight Lounge. Have you been to Lamplight?
I have not eaten there, no.
I hadn't either until this time, and I had heard good things about it, but I just just never had the opportunity to do it. It just never came up. Well, I'll tell you this, it's really good. Like the things that we tried, because some people ordered appetizers, and then I had a drink there, alcoholic drink that was really good. But everything that I tried that they had there, someone got the nachos, but they substituted the lobster nachos. They substituted for steak, and I tried some of that, and that was amazing. There was some kind of a bun thing. I don't know what it was, but had pork in it, and it was so good. Then I had the was a potato. I don't know what they were. They were like potatoes. They had seasoning and stuff. So good. That place was really good. I couldn't believe it. And we were sat outside on the outside patio, and it was just really nice weather. It was just a nice time. Then we went back to the hotel after that and did a tour of 2 other hotels in the area. There's the Marriott. I think it's the Fairfield Marriott. It's right across from Howard Johnson. And that one is really nice. That one has a nice pool, and it's big, and so they took us on a tour of that. And then we walked down the street and we went to the Anaheim Hotel, which is an older hotel, but they've kind of upgraded it, and with new furniture and painting and stuff. But it looks nice. And we did that, and we went back to DCA. A lot of walking, and then I went and saw Phil Her Magic. Did some more training and pictures, and we did a scavenger hunt. And my team that I was on, we won. Not because
good
of me.
going.
Well, maybe I don't know, but yeah, it was good. And then we ate. We had reservations at the Wine Country Tutorial, and I had salmon. I just wasn't in the mood for and plus it was kind of late, and as you get older, you have health problems. And if I have red like pasta sauce, or something late, I get heartburn before you go to bed.
Right.
So
same here.
And this was later. Our dinner was like at 6:30 or something, and by the time the food came, it was like 7. So I had the salmon. It was really good. I said bye to everyone, and because that was the end of our retreat with everyone, all the plans that we had. But I kind of went on my own. I wanted to end my trip at Disneyland rather than DCA, which I still like DCA, but I could go, a while without going there and I'd be okay. But I wanted to end the trip at Disneyland, so I walked across the way and went over on Haunted Mansion and just kind of walked around the park a little bit. Sat over by Splash Mountain, and just kind of sat there enjoying the music and the sounds of Critter Country while Splash Mountain is still there. Because I know
Yeah.
the next few times I go, it's either Critter Country's. I'm not saying it's going to be closed, but there might be a time where Critter Country will be closed for a little bit during this changeover. But it's going to be different even when it reopens. So
Yeah.
so I was just taking all that in and just sitting on a bench there. And I went, all right, I need to get back to the hotel because it was getting late and I needed to drive home the next day. But yeah, we just had a really good time. Everyone was super nice and I think we got a lot accomplished, but I think the main thing was as our team to come together, because that's the other thing is with concierge, we're not just kind of independently working, although we do. We help each other out. Like if I don't know the answer to something, I have so many other people I can text or call, and they're willing to help me. I'm the same way. If they had a question about Disneyland, I seem to be more into knowledge of Disneyland, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of people, some people will call me and ask me questions. So we work as a team, and this was kind of a team building thing to do, which was a lot of fun. So I don't want to name everyone, but everyone was just we had a really good time with everyone. So
that's great.
That was my my adventures. But you had bought the Southern California pass,
Southern California,
right?
I think. Of course, not 3 consecutive days.
Right.
The first day was in February. We did Disneyland. Second day was in March, and we did DCA. And of course, those trip reports are part of our. We did bonus episodes for our Patreon subscribers.
Right.
And so, did detailed trip reports of those days. Part of what I do is I send messages to Lynn, now we're doing this, now we're doing that. And I kind of do that to keep a record, to, keep track of my day. But this was, this was mainly a present to my wife. And so we, all four, my entire family went, all 4 of us. And my wife uses a wheelchair in the parks, which is always fun on the stamped concrete. But normally when she's out and about, she uses a scooter, but we just figure it's better just to use a wheelchair. But the thing is, we would defer to her. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
I mean, my agenda, I had certain things on my agenda, but I was going to defer to her, and we did everything on my agenda too. So, so that was good. We got there well before rope drop. It's an 8 a.m. opening. This was actually on the 27th, April 27th. It's the third and final day of our thing. Took the day off of work, and wanted to go on a Thursday, and so we got there before rope drop. Went straight to Rise of the Resistance, which we had done the previous time, and that was fine. You mentioned that one thing not working, of the blasters.
Yeah.
I have not been on there where everything is in A mode and working. Like the first time I went on, the walking Kylo Ren wasn't working.
Right.
This time we wrote it, and of course the blasters are not working, but it was in I think the B mode where you see Kylo piloting outside the ship, as opposed to almost getting sucked out of the ship. But so I've never been on it with everything working in A mode.
Wow.
But it's still a great attraction.
Complicated attraction,
Yeah, we did we did that, and we weren't in as much of a hurry as we were last time. So we went and got some blue milk. And savored that. I like the blue milk much better than the green milk.
Yeah, same here.
So, wanted to do Indy, but it was having a lot of problems. But right after the blue milk stuff, we went and did Thunder Mountain, Mansion, and Pirates. Now remember, I'm using Genie Plus. and with the wheelchair, we can, in theory, get a later return time.
Oh, with
I don't think
the DAS pass,
the what?
the DAS
No.
pass?
The DAS is for people. I think that's for
Oh,
people
right.
who are
You're right,
not
you're
using a wheelchair.
Mhm.
Like my wife is very. If you watch her transfer from the wheelchair to the ride vehicle, it's very obvious she needs the wheelchair.
Mhm.
And so they don't give us a DAS. Instead,
Right.
we can get an LRT. I don't think we actually used an LRT this time, but we did use our Genie Plus because we had bought that for all 3 days and everything.
Right.
And we went across and did Space Mountain, did Star Tours. Then my kids wanted to ride the Utopia, so they did the Utopia while my wife and I just kind of sat back and rested. We tried to get on the railroad in Tomorrowland, but it seemed like there was a backup of people in who needed the wheelchair accessibility.
Oh,
And
right.
it seemed like it was a long time between trains. So I don't know if they're just running one of them or what. So we
Maybe.
gave up and we just walked from there to Toon, because we were going to take it to Toontown. But we walked from there to Toontown and, just kind of checking out the new Toontown, taking a look around. Very popular. It was kind of crowded there. It was interesting to see how it's different now. I mean, it's clearly they put a lot of work into changing it, as we've reported on what the details have been. We ended up sitting where the Acorn Crawl used to be, the little rest area there, and we put on some sunblock because it was starting to get warm and sunny, and just kind of rested there for a while. Then my kids went through the castle walkthrough while my wife and I waited outside, and we did not ask for the alternate experience. Didn't bother with that. My son decided to go through twice. I think he was trying to loop his sister, but he didn't quite catch up with her. Almost did. We went and had lunch at Plaza Inn, where my wife had worked in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And we ate there.
What'd you have?
Well, we didn't want to wait for the chicken. There were people waiting for the chicken, so we got the pasta stuff, and my wife and I actually shared a dish because I just didn't want to carry two.
Well, it's a big portion too.
Well, so we figured I'll share. Plus my daughter didn't finish all of hers, so she's like, here, have the rest of mine, and but my daughter did have a Pepto-Bismol moment. So we went from there to first aid, and so that was interesting. That seemed to work out okay. We went down to the Main Street Cinema.
Nice.
The kids wanted to go see that, which I'm glad it still exists. Then we went to Indy, saw the new Indiana Jones, the renovated Indiana Jones. And that was, it's looking good.
Yeah.
It's looking good. I mean, I wasn't too terribly impressed with the additions in, replacing the Rat Cave, but it's better than what was there,
Right. I was going to ask you what you thought of that, because it's definitely better than what was there. And
but they got the projection stuff going really well, and
most of the lighting seems to be working again.
The vehicle, I had one of the back corners of, which is one of the, I remember that's like the one like Tony Baxter would sit people in, because it has like the most movement and everything. And boy, that thing was moving pretty, pretty much. It was moving a lot. One thing I noticed is in the screening room while you're waiting to get on the attraction, and you see Sala giving the safety spiel. They didn't have any of the newsreels. It was just
shorter
the safety
now.
spiel.
Yeah, ever since the COVID, when the park reopened, it was shortened because they didn't want people standing too close to each other, you know, in the area. So yeah, anyways, yeah.
We wanted to use our reservation for we ended up, you know, because when an attraction goes down, if you have reservation for it through Genie Plus, you know, the Lightning Lane reservation, and you'll get the generic. You can use this at several different locations, and we wanted to use one for Splash, but you know, we went over there, but we were all the way down, getting ready. You know, we reached the barn for Splash. We're gonna, you know, present our thing and get direct through the exit because of my wife, but it went down. So we went back into Galaxy's Edge. Splash Mountain had a lot of downtime that day, but so we went back into Galaxy's Edge, which is, you know, something you can do because it's right there. And we did Smuggler's Run, which, you know, we kind of immediately got a lightning lane for that. So we did Smuggler's Run, and Smuggler's Run. Okay, I've been having a little bit of a back issue lately.
Okay.
At Smuggler's Run, I mean, I'm the engineer, and I keep getting hit by the seat. You know, it's like really giving my back a workout. But not too bad. You know, just kind of painful. Yeah. So then I really wanted to do Splash, of course. At that point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm fine sitting around the rest of the day. I don't actually say that to my family, but we did take a lot of breaks. We got in line for, you know, I sent you a message at like 5 p.m. saying we're in line for Rise again. So we're doing Rise again. Right. And then it said a 60-minute wait, and it pretty much was a 60-minute wait.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And then we were about to, you know, we were inside the attraction. We're about to get into the little holding rooms that where you see Kylo Ren talking about, you know, you being a prisoner and stuff like that. And I'll be back, hold the prisoners here, and I'll be back. We're about to go in there when the attraction went down.
Oh.
So we got exited out, you know, through the cast member corridors and stuff like that. So my kids were quite impressed with that. You know, they keep those really clean. I mean, because, you know, obviously people get exited through there quite a bit. But they gave us, of course, they scanned our electronic tickets to give us a, you know, return. It's weird though, because there's 4 of us, and they split it into 2 and 2. So at first I'm like thinking, oh, cool, I've got, you know, somehow I got an extra lightning lane, but you know, it didn't. It was actually 2 and 2 instead of just 4 of us together. So it took me a minute to figure that out. Yeah. So we decided to go over to Roger Rabbit. It took us a while to get there because we came out of Galaxy's Edge in Critter Country, and we were going to ride the train from Norland Square. But again, it was like no. We looked at the backup of people waiting to get on with wheelchairs, and we're like, no. So we walked over to
like the furthest point to the furthest point.
Well, because we had this reservation for Roger Rabbit.
Right.
But see, that's what happens with these with Genie Plus is you can't always you go, well, let's see, you know, I can either get a reservation for the attraction I'm standing next to that's 5 hours from now, or I can get one for an attraction that's across the park that's half an hour from now. And so, you know, and so we went over and we did Roger Rabbit, and we took a bunch of pictures in Toontown with the kids playing with this, you know, actually playing with the old stuff, like, you know, the jail and stuff like that. I go, this is appropriate, you know, let's get pictures of our kids behind the bars. But anyway, so it took me a while because we thought maybe we could get on. We checked to see if we could get on Runaway Railway with our generic lightning lanes, but we couldn't. So then, you know, we wanted to do Splash Mountain. We ended up getting over there, and it's close to 8:00 p.m. Finally got on there. By that time, it was cold. It was cooling down. My wife didn't want to do it, so the 3 of us did it, and I put up some video on our Facebook group, the Sweep Spot Facebook group, me riding it and another picture and everything. Pretty wet. I think it was in better shape than the last time I went on it in February. You know, there was the lighting, I think, was better. I don't know. Maybe it was just because it was nighttime and my eyes were better adjusted.
Yeah.
I don't know. We then from there we went over and did Rise of the Resistance again. We, you know, the second time because we had that the readmission.
Oh, right.
So, you know, of course, you get to experience all the preliminary stuff again. You know, all the show elements, you know, that get you inside the attraction. But then we again from there we go to It's a Small World. So, you know, big lots of walking. And we get to Small World, and they're not running the side that can take the wheelchairs. And so they're like, well, can she get out of the wheelchair and walk a while? No, can't do that. So we didn't do that, but we went over to do Buzz Lightyear because the kids wanted to do that, and we did. My wife and I just kind of sat there not shooting the kids. We just wanted to relax. And from there, my son wanted to go to Star Traders and build a lightsaber, and he started to do it. It's the Star Traders one, the less expensive one, you know. And he started to do it and then decided, nah, because he was going to have to pay for it himself, and he just decided it wasn't worth it, you know.
Yeah.
So we've been, you know, later in the day, we just were sitting down a lot, you know.
That's good.
We went over, did Mr. Toad, which is always fun. It's fun doing those dark rides when you got somebody needs to transfer out of a wheelchair, because you have to do it really quickly, you know.
Oh yeah.
So then we're kind of sitting down at the castle, you know, just kind of taking it easy. And from there, from Toad, we went down to Main Street. You know, we mobile ordered candy from the candy shop. We're kind of looking at Jolly Holiday Bakery mobile ordering, but then I didn't order anything, but you know, my family members wanted to get some sweets. I mean, I'm large enough as it is, so I just no. And we go over there to the Candy Palace for the pickup because it's mobile order, and there's a door right there that says mobile order, you know, here or whatever. Right. And I see a line backed up in there, right? So we go join that line, and we're in that line for a while before we realize this is not for mobile order pickups. You know, we actually saved somebody's place in line while they went to check, and then they came back and said, no, mobile order pickup is over on the other side there. It's like, oh, okay, well, you know, how are we supposed to know that? By this time, the park's closed, you know, and it's just the Main Street shopping stuff. The park closed at 11, so we had been there since before rope drop. And then, you know, it's now after 11 p.m. and we're going through the Emporium because the ladies want to buy something. By this time, my son and I are just ready. We're just ready to leave. I mean, you know, we're so tired.
Yeah. You know? And you have to drive home.
And then so we, you know, and then after that, we left. So full day. We did a really full day there, the third day of our 3-day ticket. Didn't see a single sweeper that I know. So
interesting.
The whole day. I thought maybe I would because it was a Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm still not really over the whole, you know, guys can have beards, mustaches, and hair down to their ankles, you know.
Yeah, it's still surprising. It throws me off every time. Like, whoa, like, yeah.
I mean, I'm glad if people have if people have that look and they want to work at the park, I'm glad they can. I'm glad for their sake that they can. You know, I'm just not, you know, my memories were all originally formed with the earlier Disney look where guys have to be clean shaven and you know, short hair and all that stuff. You know, I'm such an old school fuddy-duddy, you know, that's just how I was imprinted, you know. So
I still keep the Disney look and just to yeah, I don't know why, but yeah.
Because your wife likes it that way. How about that?
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, I want to thank anyone for indulging us in our trip reports. thank you if you're still listening to this episode.
Hang in. Yeah. You're rewarded for the ending here. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. That was cool, Ken. I'm glad. It sounds like you guys got your money's worth, for sure, out of those passes. And
yeah.
And so yeah, thank you to everyone for listening. As always, you can get show notes over on thesweetspot.com and check out everything we have on our website over there.
Write a review at Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen. It really helps us out. Let people know that we're here. Let them know how they can listen to the Sweet Spot.
Sounds good. Next week we will have our main episode, and you're not going to want to miss this one.
It's going to be a good one.